the reassembly process. Tip it up and walk it back one leg at a time. Luckily, all 4 feet are on the platform. Alright, lucked out on that one. The tip of this leaf I have toward the front of the stove. And basically I'm going to take a measurement at 5 3/4 there, 6 there, so just center it from front to back. And then get a tape measure and a straight edge. I'm going to make measurements from the floor or the platform to the level. It's 31 and a half, so it wants to shift slightly that way. That's good. A back replacement, leg replacement, rod replacement, baffle replacement. This stove was kind of hurting. People often ask what to use for a drill bit, and this is a pretty ordinary high-speed steel drill bit. The cast iron, I don't know if we had any footage that showed drilling the cast iron, but drills very easily in comparison to the steel. Sometimes I use a smaller, that's a 1/4 inch bit. I use a smaller one, a 3/16 bit, to drill a pilot hole, which goes through fairly easily, and then this I use to enlarge it to the 1/4 inch size. It's always good to get paint on the freshly prepared surface before rust can start in again. So if you're going to wire brush or sandblast something, get some paint on it that same day. I always give it at least 2 coats, sometimes 3. This is a satin black, and after the first application it's still going to be fairly flat in luster. It takes that second and third coat to give it that satin. Alright, finger tight, and then about another 1/4 of a turn. That's it. That's all it needs. On this door from 1980, actually it's threaded through the door. And then I put a brass washer and 2 what are called jam nuts, where they're basically just like what they sound like. You put them together and you jam them together, and then theoretically they won't move. And then I've got 2 more jam nuts in this piece called the dog. And the dog is what secures the door, and it goes behind this front ring. So you put these on and turn them so that the nut is tight against this dog piece. As tight as you can make it. There. And then you test it. That's pretty good. And then you got to align it. So I'll take another wrench, big wrench, not quite as big a wrench. And this wants to be aligned with the door handle itself. So I'm basically just going to turn it slightly. Set that one down and get these 2 out again. And since I know it is adjusted properly and it fits, Give it one more little turn. There. What we call a fiberglass tape that goes around the outside edge of the flat glass, the interior glass. This is important because it's not just about rebuilding the stove. This is about a fairly common thing that people have to do if they should break their interior glass. And I'll send them the glass and I'll send them the gasket that goes with it. Cut that. Cut that. And then it just folds over, half folds over on the front and the back. And you have to make sure that it's dry. If you've just washed it with anything, Windex or any kind of glass cleaner, it won't stick if it's wet. Alright, I'm going to put it in the stove the same way it was, with the shiny surface toward the front, toward the pie plate. So center that, put the pie plate just like that, and then I'm going to get the 1/4 inch rope gasket. There's just a little space between the glass and the cast iron. And you don't want it to be loose or rattle in there. You don't want it to allow air to leak in. There again, this is an airtight stove. Okay, so we've covered up all the nickel plating so that I can take it and paint it black to match the stove. Take the corner of the paper towel and wipe the letters to expose the nickel. A little rust in those holes. Okay, oh, we gotta put the ash apron. Voila! So we've seen this stove as it came in with big dents in the side of the barrel, huge crack in the back of the stove. One of these tie rods was actually a threaded rod, a replacement. The others, the nuts were so badly rusted on we couldn't get them off. But basically this has a new barrel, all new tie rods, a new back, although we did save the elbow, which was in good condition. The nickel-plated elm tree came from a 1982 stove. This also, the ash apron is nickel-plated, also came from a 1982 stove, as did this door handle. These are new knobs that I turned on the lathe. The legs, these are the 14-inch long legs that raise it up off the hearth. It will get some new fire bricks. Another thing I wanted to point out were these are examples of some of the foundry patterns. These pieces are made of cast aluminum. These obviously are the 8-inch short legs. This is a combustor can casting for a catalytic elm. This is the 24-inch baffle. The one behind it is the 18-inch baffle. These are all the pieces of equipment that go to the foundry, and what they basically do is make a mold of each of these in sand, a top and a bottom, which are both highly compressed sand, and they put them together and pour the metal in them, and that's what is used to produce the parts for these stoves. So what we've seen today is that if you have the proper equipment, hand tools primarily, if you have all of the proper replacement parts for your stove, you too can go through this same procedure and do gasket replacement, painting, sandblasting, prep work. There are all sorts of different things that you can do or you can get done locally if you're too far away from Vermont to have basically bring it to my shop and have me do it, you can do it yourself. And that's the point of this whole instructional video. So thanks for watching. Good luck with your Elm stoves. We're basically done.
Yeah.